Hey everybody, hey, this is Melissa and I am your encouraging prepper, and today we continue with our prepathon. We are canning beef today. All right, so grab your Presto canners, your American canner, whatever you have. Also, we're going to announce today who is the winner of the prepathon prize. So we're going to be canning our beef. Grab your canners and come on back. Okay, so welcome back. All right, so now that you have your canners and preferably your jars already prepared, because we're just going to roll through the video. I know that we did the carrots before, so hopefully you've gotten really comfortable with your pressure canner at this point. So today, these are the things you're going to need. You're going to need a good lean piece of meat. And I have rump roast as well as a piece of blade roast. I'm canning approximately 15 pounds today, maybe 20. Not a whole lot, but I wanted to do the video as I had committed. So also grab your jars. You're going to need to have, I'm using pint size with a wide mouth today. You can use regular mouth if you choose, but I prefer wide mouth while doing meat, as it makes it a little bit easier to slide it in and out. Okay, so that's what I'm using. Also, you'll need your seasoned salt. If you choose to use canning salt, that's fine. I have Lowry seasoning, and I'm also going to be using an organic garlic powder today. So that's what I'm using on my meat. Seasoning is not a factor. A lot of people want to know, well, can I use this seasoning or that seasoning? Can I put this in it? Can I put that? Use whatever seasoning you want to use. That does not factor into the canning process. Okay, so use whatever seasoning please use. So the first thing you're going to do, we have the cutting board here. You also need to have a measuring spoon and your lid lifter. I'm using gloves. I don't like to cross-contaminate, so that's why I'm using gloves. You're just going to take your beef and cut it in an even way. Okay, just cut it straight down evenly across. And I'm going to adjust the camera here so you can see. I don't have my camera guy today, so I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see me cutting the meat. Okay, so I have adjusted the camera so you can see easily how I am cutting the meat. It's just a real nice lean piece. You won't see my face, but I'm still here. Okay, so you're just gonna cut your meat in even cubes. First I go this way across, and you really need a sharp knife for this. And this is a beautiful piece of meat here. Okay, so once you get them cut, and then you're just gonna go the other way and maybe get 3 chunks out of that. Okay, and I'm gonna move that over to the side. Or maybe 4 chunks, depending on how big you want it. So I wanted you guys to be able to see how I cut this in a pretty large cubes. Okay, so that's how you cut it. I'm gonna go off camera now and finish the remaining meat, and I'll bring you back, okay? All right, so we have our meat ready to go. I have cut these into cubes of similar size. I'll let you see that. So this is what we ended up with. And I have one side, I'll put it there, that's more lean than the other. So I'm going to be mixing these 2 types of roast, okay? That way I'll have not so much fat in one jar, okay? You want your meat to be as less fatty as possible. And that way you'll get a better result, you'll get a better seal, and your meat will keep for a longer period of time. But is it okay to have a little bit of fat? Of course, because you want to have that flavor added to your meat. So it's perfectly fine to have a little bit of fat in there. Okay, so let's start with filling our jars. I'll just pull this back, and I'm going to put a few cubes. Before we do that though, we're going to season it. So we don't want to forget to season it. I'm just going to go ahead and season it a little bit with some of my Lowry's. I'm not going to put too much, just a little. And then I'm going to put a little bit of garlic. And I'm going to put the additional salt in the jar. So this is actually canning salt. I will add a little bit of canning salt, which is, I'm only going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon to each jar, since this is a pint size. Not even a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon, just a little bit. Okay, and that's, I love garlic though, so maybe we'll put a little bit more garlic. All right, so now we're ready to actually put the meat in. So we're going to just pick up a little bit of the lean portion. We'll put those, a few cubes of lean. Then I put some that had a little bit of the fat. I'll put some of that in. And then I'll end with a little bit more lean. So I'm just mixing the two. And you're not going to try to, pack it down so heavily. You want it to be loosely packed. So you can use the funnel, but sometimes you have to remove the funnel anyway. Okay, so I'm just mixing a little bit of lean and a little bit of the one with the fat. So I'm going to go to the next jar, lean, a little bit of the one with some fat, and come back on top with a little lean and some fat. So kind of alternate the two. And so that's what I'm going to do for the remaining of these jars. I want the video not to be so long, so I will bring you back when I get all my jars ready and you work on your jars. And remember, you can use the funnel, but sometimes the funnel gets in the way. We will clean the rims of these jars so you don't have to worry about touching the rim. Okay, I'll bring you right back. Okay, so now that we have, number 1, prepared our meat, number 2, added our seasoning, processed the meat to the point where we have as less fat as possible. We've done all of that. We've packed the jars loosely with meat, and I ended up with 7 jars. I think that's pretty good. So this is a trial and error. So if you try to get as much as you can out of all the meat that you have. So just trim the fat. You can leave a little bit of fat, but you don't want to leave too much, because the whole idea is to have the leanest meat possible when processing beef, okay? All right, so we got 7 jars. This process is called the raw pack method. So you do not need to have hot jars. You don't need any of that, but you do need processed, sanitized jars. So you want to make sure you follow the process for sanitizing your jars, your lids, and everything's ready to go. All right, so once your jars have cooled down and you're ready to pack them, this is what it ends up looking like once you pack those jars. Now, what I'm going to do, I've already put the lids on a few of these, but I'm going to show you very quickly. You need to make sure you clean the rims of those lids. This is a little bit of vinegar, and you're just going to take a paper towel and go around the lid, just like we did when we processed our carrots. So I'm going to do 2 jars here, just so you can see that we're just going to take any fat or grease or anything that's on that lid. We'll be able to go ahead and get that off. Okay, so now that the rim of the jar is grease-free, we want to go ahead and add our lid with the lid lifter. And your lid should have been soaking at this point while you were processing, just in some water. Doesn't have to, just some lukewarm water. Okay, so we're going to put those lids on. All right, and we're going to screw our rings just finger tight. Screw it finger tight. Okay, I've already completed most of these, but I wanted to show you on camera how to get to this point. All right, so we now have 7 jars ready to go into the canner. So I will bring you back at the stove. And so turn your canner on, get your 3 quarts of water in your canner, a minimum of 3 quarts, and that's what we'll pick up. Bring you right back. Okay, so we're here at my stove now, and we're ready to put the jars in. Beautiful jars. One question you may have is, why didn't you add any liquid? And the reason for that is when you're doing the raw pack method for beef, according to our Ball canning book as well as the Presto canner book, you do not add any liquid because the juices will be made from the actual meat, okay? So that's why we didn't add any liquid. So now we're just going to put our jars in the canner. Make sure you put your rack in, and you just sit them over in some hot water. The water is not going to cover the jars, so you don't have to worry about trying to make the water cover. You just need a minimum of 3 quarts of water, just like we did with the carrots, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're just sitting them down in here. This is warm water, but not boiling water. Okay? And our jars are not hot because this is a raw pack method. And we got those in, and it looks just fine. So we're going to go ahead and put our top on. And we've already verified that we're able to see through the valve. So we're just going to set it on. One V with another V. And it sits right on. And then you're just going to snap it into place. Just like that, okay? So we will now turn this up and make sure that we let this vent for about 10 minutes as we did before, and then we will wait for it to come up to pressure once we add our weight. Okay, so we let it vent for 10 minutes, add weight, bring up to pressure, set timer. That's what you do. All right, we'll bring you back. Okay, so we are back, and we're right at the 11 pounds of pressure. So we waited for it to come up to pressure, and I'm just going to show you real quick that it's right at the 11 pound here. And so once it reaches 11 pounds, you want to go ahead and set your timer. And if you are doing pints, that would be for 75 minutes. If you are doing quarts, you would set that for 90 minutes. Once it's up to pressure, do not start timer before pressure is at 11 pounds or whatever pounds you use for your altitude. All right, so this will process for 75 minutes, and then we will pull them out of the canner and show you the final results. All right, hope this has been fun for you guys. And we're also about, don't leave, because we're going to show you the winner. We're going to go ahead and spin the wheel while this is processing. All right, so stick with me. All right, so today is the day we spin the wheel to see who wins the mini Sawyer water filtration and the filtration purification tablets. All right, so let's spin the wheel. Here we go. All right, and the winner is yay, Marsha H. You are the winner. Hey. So Marsha, give us a email me. My email is encouragingprepper@gmail.com. You have 24 hours to email me and let me know that, give us your P.O. box or wherever you would like for your mini Sawyer water filtration system to be sent. All right, thanks everybody for joining the Prepathon. It's been a great time. All right, we're back and the canner is done. We have allowed it to rest for the extra 10 minutes after removing the weight. So I'm going to now open the canner, and you always open it away from your face, away from your face. Okay, place that down. All right. And then we're going to just lift these out easily. And we're waiting for that popping sound. Okay, we're removing them from the canner now. That was the extra one. And you're just going to lift them straight up, nothing fancy, and over to a safe place, keeping them about an inch apart if possible. Okay, you're going to take your lid lifter straight up and over. All right, so we're going to get all of these out. And they look beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right. See that? It's beautiful. All right. So as you can see, we have our 7 jars. They look just beautiful. Okay, I had to pick this back up. All right, so we have 7 jars. They look really beautiful. Can you guys see the sizzle in that? Wow, this is such beautiful beef. So don't be afraid to can your own beef. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed the video today. And Marsha, you are the winner, so be sure to contact me. And I love you guys. I won't put my face back up, but I love you, I love you, I love you. And always remember to be encouraged. And the Lord loves you, and so do I. All right, talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.